buongiorno. Welcome to another episode of Regional Italian Cuisine. Of course, my name is Caterina Borsato. And on this program, we're going to be discussing and meeting a very clever man, a wonderful entrepreneur, and it's all about coffee. If there is one thing, I guess, that is quintessentially Italian, you've got to say it's coffee. It's coffee and biscotti. And you know, this is something that Italians have been doing all their lives. It's something that brings us back to, I guess, those early migrants when their playtime was around coffee and that whole thing about bringing it back to the homeland. So on this program, we're going to be meeting the wonderful Phil Di Bella. He is the founder of Di Bella Coffee. He's got a great story to tell us, not just about how he started, but where he sees the future. His name is going to be up there in lights with some of the wonderful past coffee roasters that have been, I guess, well known in this country. You know, the grinders, the Genovese, there's a whole range of them. But I guess Phil is about the new generation. So let's go and have a chat to him. A lot of viewers, let me welcome the beautiful Filippo Di Bella. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Because you've become a pretty big name. You've rattled a few feathers, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's in my style to ruffle a few feathers.
I know. Let's just to tell our wonderful TV audience a little bit about you, because you are a man of, born in Australia.
Correct.
From Sicilian heritage.
That's right, son of migrants.
Yeah, mum and dad came out in the
40s.
In the 40s, so that sort of second wave, really, like my parents. And of course, you were born into a family that I guess was quintessentially Italian.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Correct.
So you did all things Italian. I think in our earlier discussions, you said to me, I said, well, how did you fall in love with coffee? And what did you say to me?
Oh, look, it was a beverage that I was brought up on. We had visitors at least 3-4 times a week coming over, and the first thing that goes on the table is coffee and biscotti and all great things like that. You don't get an athlete's body like this, by not eating and drinking well. So,
I'm not even going to answer that. I'm just not going to go there.
I'd be happy if I had that type of body. I'd be doing all right. Yeah.
But okay, so importantly, so in your early part of your career, you obviously did some tertiary education, because you can't just start in coffee without having something behind you. And you did a commerce degree?
I did. I didn't know whether I wanted to be a solicitor or an accountant, and they told me I had too much personality for an accountant, but I won't hold that against the great number crunchers. And so I did commerce at university. I got a taste of everything. Got a taste of politics, economics, marketing, and I fell in love with marketing. I fell in love with marketing, retailing, and human resources, and it's served me well over the years. Starting my own business and going out and doing my own thing after I worked full time for another place. It's been a good asset having a marketing degree behind me.
Oh, that's the big thing about business these days. It's not enough just to love something. There's got to be some substance. Now, of course, whilst you were going through university, you were working at your brother's shop. And of course, in your brother's shop, there was a fantastic little machine made by Gadja.
There was, and Achilles Gadja in 1945 was synonymous of building the first modern day coffee machine as we know it, with a pump.
Yeah.
And at 15, I worked for my brother's pizza shop. I was the best dishwasher anyone had ever seen. Left hand, right hand, mixing it up. And there was this two-group machine sitting there that not many people used to use, and one of my favourite habits, coming from a family that loved coffee, was to start playing around on this coffee machine. And that's where the second phase of my coffee love affair began, mucking around on this, Gadget machine that sat there and hardly got used in a pizza shop.
I think we should tell our viewers at home, of course, the one thing that perhaps people get very confused is the word espresso, because we know that at home Italians or the migrants would have had stovetop coffee percolators, which work on the evaporation method. But tell us about the espresso machine as we know it on a commercial basis.
Yeah, so the espresso machine obviously takes water and it pushes it through by pressure. So it pushes water through coffee out of filter baskets into a cup. I mean, the process normally takes between 28 and 35 seconds. It's anywhere from 7 grams to, we say, 10 grams. Some people run it over 24, 26 grams.
Right.
And what you're starting to see is this evolution that coffee's personal. Yeah. But the format of espresso is taking a coffee machine, heating, it naturally heats the water up, and then it pushes it through a filter baskets to end up with a liquid down the bottom. Whereas the stovetop works through evaporation of boiling up. And
you don't get a crema with a cafetiera, because the espresso machine gives us a beautiful, which is really the oils from the coffee that sit on top of the...
That's where the flavour is. Yeah. And in a stovetop you don't get it because it's burning as such the coffee. So at 97 degrees water starts to boil and it evaporates and those oils get burnt off, and that's why you don't get the crema.
Amazing. So from those very, I'm going to use the word humble beginnings if you don't don't mind, because really that's where you started and you got an education, fortunately, in Australia. But then in 2002, with a very small amount of money, you launched yourself onto the Australian stage. And I know you've taken on the world stage as well.
Yeah, look, 2002, I saw a gap in the marketplace in Queensland. There was companies that had great coffee.
Because you know that Melbourne was the coffee capital.
Yes, and I still say it. It's, you won't take that. I'm a hometown.
We gave it to you.
My hometown's Brisbane, but I'm a lover of Melbourne, and I say to this day, Melbourne's the coffee capital of the world when we talk about milk-based coffees. But in 2002, there was great companies doing great coffee. Service lacked a bit. There was companies with great service. Their product lacked, and I saw an opportunity to put the three together. And the third one was consistency. So I wanted to be the number one. My goal was to chase this number one position of amazing, consistent products, great, knowledgeable service where everyone in the company was knowledgeable about coffee and beyond, and then deliver it consistently to the marketplace. And that's where in 2002. So it wasn't so much about the product as such, as it was more about the whole model, which is going to be my point of difference.
Which is what you revolutionised, because as I said to you, when I first started buying coffee in my restaurant life, they used to literally drop off the bags. There was no talking about the blends or this and that. It was just giving me the bag. It was a brand, you pay for it. There was no servicings, nothing else. So, but anyway, on that note, we've also got another wonderful guest on our show today, a beautiful chef called Mario Calli, and he's going to actually bring the marriage of coffee and biscotti right on this program. Allora, viewers, I'd like to introduce Mario Calli. L'ho detto giusto?
Perfetto, bravo.
Now, he is a real Sicilian. He's an import. He comes from the island of Sicily down towards the south.
Correct.
Etna?
Yes, correct. It's a small town on the foot of Mount Etna.
Right.
Near Taormina, the popular touristic area.
It is. Actually, that's on the east side of the lower part of the island. Beautiful. And of course, the one thing that is synonymous with Sicily, of course, are their sweets. Now, on this program, we're going to go through some of the wonderful products that Mario is bringing to us right here in Australia. So they are the products that he grew up with, but he's going to show us a couple of shortcuts along the way. Now, the first recipe we're going to do is the pasta di mandorla.
Correct.
Is that right? Which is basically an almond biscuit. Now, we were talking earlier on, Mario, and of course, it was really the Arabs that introduced.
Yes, Sicily, I have a lot of people have invited on the history, and the Arabian, when come in Sicily, have introduced a lot sweet stuff, and one of that is the pasta di mandorla. It's a very natural product with sugar and almond and just egg white. That's it. Very simple,
really simple,
nice and fresh for the hot weather is in Sicily.
All right. Well, Mario's going to get into this recipe and we're going to have a look at exactly what he does with it and how easy it is to do.
It's just a few steps to do. After everybody can make it easy home, a nice recipe and personalize.
Beautiful.
Now start the recipe for pasta di mandorla. Pasta di mandorla is the traditional Sicilian biscuit. Open the kitchen angel package. Same of that. You see, a nice oil from the nuts. That premix is the compost of almond, sugar, and a lot of passion and my knowledge from Sicily. I need another bowl, egg white. Just make a nice mix. That is for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. Imagine you do some pasta. Continue to mix until it's nice and smooth. Don't scare to use your hand because that is the best machine you possibly have in the kitchen. Now you see it's nice and smooth. All eggs is amalgamated properly with the mix. It's ready to make your biscuit. Now the compost is ready. You start to shape your biscuit. You show your ice and sugar parts of the seed for make it very fine, and put a little bit product inside and start to roll. Same of that. You decide what's the size of a biscuit you want to do and start to cut all the same sides. I am suggest to make the easy shape. What is important is all the same sides. Now what I need is a baking trays with nice baking pepper and start to shape your biscuit. That is the simple way just sit on top of the trays, same of that, and all in the same distance and the same size of biscuit, because you want the biscuit to cook even. Again, another little bit of mix and repeat the same cut. On the same time, what I need is the oven preheat 185 degrees for when is biscuit ready. Also put inside for 12 to 15 minutes, and your traditional Sicilian biscuit is ready to enjoy with a nice cup of coffee or tea. Because the food I need to look good, I need to taste good, what I suggest is to use a little bit red cherries, or what do you prefer, and start to your biscuit look a little bit more nice for enjoy by eyes, by mouth. That is just glass cherries, the good quality, Italian one, and give it a little bit color and life to your biscuit. Now it's ready on your trays. It's ready to go in the oven for 12 to 15 minutes, 185 degrees, and after you possibly enjoy your dessert. Oh, beautiful! It's amazing biscuit. Ready to go in your plate and enjoy with your friend. I am enjoying with my friend Philip and Caterina.